Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel and, of course, hit the bell if you don't want to miss out on any streams or uploads when we do go live. Also, make sure you check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. Chat with other traders, chat with myself. You can find more information about Elevating Traders. And of course, you can share ideas if you want some opinions and see what other people are looking to trade. And if you're interested, go check it out. Complete free to join. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But welcome to the stream, guys. Hope everyone's well. Good morning, good morning. What's up, Tony Gold? Welcome to the stream. Sultani, what is up? Hope you're well. Follow the trend. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Happy Friday. Nenad, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Happy upcoming weekend. Right back at you. What's up, Dark Sean? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. And a short trade for GJ. Okay. Looking good till now. Stop loss drag, 10% profit. Stage job was almost the entire day, unfortunately. Okay. It happens, my man. It happens. But I will go through GJ, see what's happening over there. But first, we'll go through some of the DXY pairs, USD analysis, and take a look at gold and silver. But I will go through pound gem. What's up, Philip? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. It's been a very lovely month trading. Okay, good. That's great to hear. Community analysis has accelerated my trading. I'm profitable. Thank you. Oh, great to hear, man. Great to hear. As music to my ears. But again, of course, a lot of that is to do with your discipline, your consistency as well. So make sure you do pat yourself on the back. But I'm chuffed to hear that the community and the analysis and the streams are definitely progressing your journey. That is great to hear. What's up, Sultani? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. FX Wolf, what's up? Ahmed, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Philip DXY is looking to hold support. Yeah, we've had a bit of a bearish move yesterday. We will take a look. Okay, so let me go through the DXY side of things. We'll take a look at USD majors, gold, silver. Of course, any other requests, let me know. Drop it in the chat. We'll discuss any particular time frames as well. Let me know, and I will share my thoughts and opinions. But at the moment, DXY is looking pretty bearish, and this is kind of the move we've been looking for in terms of the short, medium-term move. You had that really aggressive move to the downside last week, and I was looking at this move as simply the correction of that. Now expecting further downside, so that has been the plan with the dollar. Of course, long term, as I've stressed many times, I'm still overall bullish because we haven't taken out any bullish structure yet, or at least major structure. We've taken out some of these minor lows here, which is technically a break of structure, but to me, this is the last major low, which created the high over there. So technically speaking, I do want to see price take out that low. However, I can take counter trend opportunities like I did with pound USD. So if the market does push down, pull back, and looks like we are forming another lower high, I will be looking for opportunities on the corresponding USD pairs for opportunities whilst we still haven't taken out that low. So just because we haven't broken structure doesn't mean I'm immune to counter trend trades. But it does mean that the overall trend is still up until it's not. So this is still a very important low for me because, of course, this is the low create that high. But of course, we've had a pretty strong move to the downside, and it looks like we're taking out these lows here at the moment. So what's the next move for the dollar? Well, I want to see how price reacts with the low here because although it looks like price is taking out the low right now, things can change very quickly. This time, I was going to say this time tomorrow. Well, yeah, this time tomorrow, price could be looking pretty bullish, reacting to that low. So things can change pretty quickly. Again, I'm still under the pressure that the overall trend is down. However, we're still seeing pretty aggressive momentum to the downside here, which does tell me that, okay, the bears are at the moment in control of the market. And I would be careful about looking for any longs at the moment, especially if you're looking for anything long term. Sure, there probably will be a bounce at some point, but there's a good chance probably a lower high does form as we're starting to stack them in succession. We've got one over there, second over there, third over there, potentially a fourth could form, and more downside as well. So until we start to see some strength to the upside and maybe price taking out some highs, I would be a bit careful looking for longs on the DXY. So I'll be shorts on pound, shorts on euro, and we'll go through some other currency pairs in a moment. But at the moment, things look pretty bearish. I want to see how price reacts to the low. In terms of my analysis, price has done its job. It's pushed the low. Now it's time to kind of monitor price and see what we do next. I would still be bearish in terms of the current momentum, but like I said, at this low, things can change pretty quickly. We could be looking very bullish pretty soon. So I don't really have a setup right now for the dollar. Now that we have kind of seen that follow through, now it's kind of just time to wait and see how we progress. Although there's a few USD pairs where I do think there's a lot more movement to come, and we'll go through them shortly. In terms of Euro USD, pretty much this exact same situation in terms of a strong move to the upside. This is essentially what I'll be looking for on Euro, some nice momentum to the upside, breaking through the highs. I said on the weekly analysis last week that if we can see some upside break through the highs here, then you could catch a nice swing back to the high at 1.052 on some pullbacks, because now we've actually seen some bullish structure at play. You've got the low, you've got the high, you've got the higher low, and now you've got a higher high. So there is some flow of the market now. So in terms of looking for some opportunities for Euro, I would say some intraday pullbacks look good back to the high, perhaps the retest of that high on the left could be a great place to long from. Should we see a pullback there? Nice opportunity, catch the next high low. We've got one down there, second, third, fourth, could catch the number five, and then look to long it back to 1.053. I think it's a pretty good opportunity, especially with the weakness we're seeing with the dollar at the moment. Price is breaking structure, so the odds of the euro suddenly falling to the downside is pretty low now. We probably will likely take out that high first if we are going to sell off. But still, this is a very, very corrective move in the market now. I'm not really seeing a comfortable and very free-flowing bearish trend at the moment. It's definitely something that looks like it could be forming potentially a bottom. Of course, not confirmed yet, but it is giving the characteristics of a bottom in terms of starting to really fade at the lower lows, starting to start placing higher lows as well. Overall, very corrective market structure, not really see much momentum anymore. So it does have some characteristics of potentially a bit of a bottom, which could mean a lot more upside for Euro USD long term, but I'm not necessarily looking for that just yet. I want to see if we can break through the highs first, and then maybe we can speak about some higher lows again on the 4-hour chart shortly afterwards. But for now, in terms of a nice intraday move, at least one for the next few days, some pullbacks and the pushback to the high make a load of sense. In terms of pound USD, so this one very strongly to the upside. I did manage to close my trade at the highs there yesterday, so nice position there. However, I did say I was looking to short the market as well. Should we see rejection at the highs? And we just haven't seen that. Price broke for the highs, yesterday. Nice 4-hour candle close, and we haven't really seen any bearish momentum since then. So I'm still on edge because we could still very much turn quickly, and we could see a massive bearish engulfing come out of nowhere, and that would be my entry signal to get into the position. But at the moment, there is no sign of that, so I have to be careful. And for all I know, pound USD might just run to the upside at this moment in time. So with pound, I am still bearish in terms of the overall market structure, like I am with euro, like I'm bullish with dollar, the DXY. The overall structure is still pointing down, so we could at any moment in time put that lower high in, but things are not really adding up because, again, my idea is not, okay, let me just keep following a trend. It has to be a good opportunity within a trend. And right now, I'm not really seeing a good opportunity or any opportunity really within this bearish trend. So I'm kind of just staying on the sidelines at the moment. Happy with the long position, but in terms of the shorts, I'm kind of holding my horses a little bit, unless we see a really sharp recovery and price comes crashing back down. I haven't checked the news today, so I'm not too sure if we've got any big news for USD. I don't think we do. I have some small ones. I think we've got some Euro GDP news, I think. But yeah, at the moment, pound USD is looking pretty bullish. Again, don't really have a setup for this one just yet. If we come crashing back below the highs, I'll consider some shorts, but at the moment, not really seeing much signs of that happening just yet. Dollar CAD, though, is a very interesting one, and one I'm keeping a very close eye on because now we've finally got the breakout. So dollar CAD, I've been looking for the break of this support for a while. We've just been consolidating for the past week. Again, kind of similar to the DXY in terms of we've had a really big drop there, and this was kind of like a correction or like a pause or consolidation, however you want to call it. Similar to what we have with the DXY, strong drop. DXY was correcting most of last week, and now we've got the follow through. That's kind of what we're getting with USD CAD. And of course, it's a dollar pair, so you do expect to see similar characteristics, but really strong move to the downside. Again, the reasons why we're expecting downside for dollar CAD is because number one, we're testing a massive weekly resistance level, once over there, twice over there, and a third time over there as well. We rejected it very, very strongly last week, so the odds of us seeing more downside are pretty high. And of course, just looking at the overall characteristics of how price has been moving, I had a very comfortable bullish trend, but then that ended up in a range for a while. So it's either prices are going to break out and continue the trend, or break out and fake out the high and perhaps maybe form a bit of a top, which looks like price has gone and done that at the moment. Again, really sharp break to the upside, but really sharp recovery. So given the characteristics of a fake out, and now that we've seen momentum to the downside, I'm expecting pullbacks and a lot more downside to follow there for dollar CAD. I'm looking at this weekly level around 1.4, just below 1.4, I believe. Yes, so just below 1.4, around 1.39. That's kind of where I'm expecting dollar CAD to end up at. So my job is just looking for some healthy corrections, shorting opportunities, and see if I can swing it down to that low, or at least where we form the next swing low on the 4-hour chart. So if you start to pull back from here, then of course that would be a nice target to have. Then you can leave some positions to run should we get to the weekly zone. But yeah, overall pretty bearish for dollar CAD here. So expecting a lot more downside, and I like this pair a lot. I like this pair, so going to be keeping a close eye. In terms of Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, these guys are starting to pick a direction as well. I've talked a lot about them in terms of they're just been consolidating, again, looking like potentially forming a bit of a bottom. You can see where we're trading on the higher time frames, massive level of weekly support. And the fact is we're just consolidating, rejecting the lows. So that's why I've been looking for a bit of a bottom there for Aussie dollar. And as I said previously, it might just be a temporary bottom. It might be a situation where we pull back for a week or two and then continue down later. That could be the case. It could be a case we completely reverse from here. Of course, we don't know. But as traders, we just got to look for opportunities. And right now, it does look like things are switching in direction. A really strong double bottom back down at these lows here. And now that we're breaking through the highs with some momentum, similar situation to dollar CAD. We had the consolidation, prices broken out of that. I want to see a bit more upside before I do start to look for some pullbacks. The idea is looking for a higher low, perhaps maybe the retest of the consolidation. That would be a nice place for a long, and then expecting a lot more upside there for Aussie dollar. And this will be the situation or the opportunity I'm looking to take advantage of with this pair. And I can say the same with New Zealand dollar. Pretty much the same situation, except we haven't broken through the highs just yet, but I do anticipate us to go and do that. They do move pretty similar, so I expect to see similar price action. But again, if you zoom out to the higher time frames, where is New Zealand dollar trading? Right back at the swing low here as well. We've been bearish for quite a while, so the market's pretty overextended, hence why the chance or the odds of a pullback is pretty high. And now it looks like we're actually getting that. So if price can go break the highs, that would be fantastic, which is over there. And then we can start talking about some pullbacks, perhaps maybe the retest of the high over there or the retest of that high. Depends how big the breakout is, how big the pullback is. But again, something like that is what I'm looking to take advantage of and find some trades for. So very bullish on Aussie dollar, very bullish on New Zealand dollar, expecting some pullbacks, bearish in dollar CAD. And those are the dollar pairs which I actually like at the moment, or beginning to like at least. I'm not really seeing opportunities to take any trades just yet, but I think maybe next week sometime they could present some nice trades should that momentum continue. In terms of gold, I think just more upside for gold. Same old. Yeah, back to highs pretty much. We actually did get a nice 15-minute correction there. I was talking about some buys for gold yesterday because there was a really nice breaking retest over here the day before. Really nice retest there. Beautiful wick through the zone. I think that was from CPI. Really nice piercing wick. Price continued to the upside from there. Then I said the next best opportunity for gold will be a bit more of an intraday pullback. On the 15-minute chart, I was talking about this zone here. And we actually did see a really nice 15-minute correction there. Came back to test the prior resistance, turn support. Really nice entry there. And price has been climbing to the upside since then. And looks like we've just gone back to the highs there. So looks like maybe we'll create some new highs. We are slowing down. You can see momentum is starting to tie a little bit. So Again, that's not necessarily a sign that I'm expecting gold to completely collapse, but it's a sign that we are starting to become a little bit more exhausted. You can see on the prior breakout, there's a lot of momentum there, a lot more momentum there, a lot more momentum there. Now we're becoming a bit more tired. So the bigger pullback for gold is going to happen eventually. Again, we still could potentially go tick off 3K before that bigger pullback happens, but it's going to happen soon. So I think if you're looking to trade gold, just keep it intraday in terms of your entries, ride that momentum. You can always leave positions to run. But in terms of a bigger swing for gold, we've already seen one. This is a huge swing to the upside. So in terms of entries on the higher time frames, you do want price to give you that bigger pullback, which will happen at some stage. And of course, continue to ride the trend. But yeah, very, very bullish for gold, back at highs. So I wouldn't recommend buying now. But perhaps if you can break through the highs and look for another pullback, there could be some more opportunities there. And silver's just loving life at the moment. Very, very bullish, breaking through the high there. So I'm liking silver. I was hoping for a slightly bigger correction, but unfortunately did miss out on the chance for that. Did not come back to the area I was speaking about the past couple of days. So unfortunately missed out on that trade. But very, very confident move to the upside. And the move for silver back to the high is very much on. So keeping a very close eye on this one. Again, looking for the next pullback for this one. I think, again, we might see silver really pick up momentum. So in terms of the bigger pullback, we might not quite see one. So I would suggest, again, look at the lower time frames, 15-minute hourly chart. That's probably where you're going to find sufficient pullbacks to trade this one, because I'm not too sure if you will get some slightly bigger pullbacks, just because there might be so much momentum right now. It's a really healthy breakout. We've broken through resistance here. That's been ticked off. So the next big target is indeed the high over there. So onwards and upwards for silver. Look for pullbacks. I'll probably keep it intraday, but there's still a long way to go. So there should still be some opportunities. Just have to stay patient for it. But yeah, very bullish on silver, very bullish on gold. Still a little bit bearish on DXY, but just going to see how far we go in terms of reacting to the current level we're at the moment. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the DXY USD pairs in general. Okay, where were we? Okay, yeah, dark channel. I will go for your GJ position. Said your stop losses to break even. Got short from 920. Okay, we'll take a look at that as well. Sultani, yes, we'll go for Aussie Chef. I'm still currently short on that one. It's roughly around my entry price. So we'll take a look at that one as well. Probably hold the trade past my target as impulse looks really good and the volume is in my favor. Okay, nice. We'll go take a look. Then since the beginning of the year by D40 every pullback. I don't know if I'm lucky, but now it works. I buy the previous 3 trades with a lot of confidence. Yeah, I mean, I had a look at the DAX yesterday. It was very, very bullish. Very, very bullish. Again, with every trade, there is a little bit of luck because there is no certainty. You don't take a trade because you're certain prices are going to go up or down. There is a bit of luck with every single trade you take, but there's, of course, edge. If you don't have edge, then your luck is going to run out pretty quick. So you got to have edge with your trade. You got to have a strategy, have an approach, and consistency with that approach. But in terms of an individual trade playing out, there's definitely an element of luck because you can take a very good trade with a whole bunch of confluence and a whole bunch of reason why it could play out and it could still fail. So I would say you're probably a little bit unlucky there, but that's of course just the realities of the market. You've got an edge which will play out over 50, 100 trades, but individually, a trade playing out, there will be elements of luck and unluckiness in there. So yeah, I wouldn't say luck unless you just bought it randomly. Then yeah, that is a bit lucky. But if there's routine, if there was an approach there which you had and you executed on that, then I think that's really what you should be focusing on. But yeah, the DAX has been very, very bullish. What's up, Manzondi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yusuf, good morning. Hope you are doing good. Okay, let me have a look at pound yen. What's this one doing? Hasn't really gone anywhere, has it? Okay, last time we looked at it, I think maybe over there somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, we've been completely sideways since then. So you said you're short on that one, the auction, or long? Okay, short GJ 920, looking good. Stop loss. 10% profit. Let's just drop. Okay, so where it is 920. 920. Okay, so around it. Okay, so you caught the high up there. Okay, nice entry. Nice place for an entry. Really nice reaction as well. I assume your targets, well, you normally look for like 70 pips, 50, 70 pips, you normally look for. So let's say if you entered around there, I mean, you've probably done the 50 pips already. 70 would take you more or less to that low there. So I'd imagine maybe your targets are down there somewhere, 191.5. Or maybe if you're looking to hold further, because you did say you look to hold further, maybe looking at the low 191.2. But either which way, it's been a nice move. You said you're looking to manage the trade in terms of your stop losses already in some profit. So worst case scenario, price comes back and you walk away with a small win. Best case scenario, walk away with a bigger win and it hits your extended targets. But in terms of the entry, I'm a big fan of it because at the moment the market is pretty sideways. So if you're going to get involved in a position, you want to be up at the highs or down at the lows, and taking an entry right at the high there makes a load of sense, of course, in hindsight, but just in terms of logic as well, you want to be trading right at the high, which you have done. So really like the entry. Nice move. You said you secured your stop loss into a bit of profit. So yeah, I'll just see what price has in store. It is going to fluctuate. It's not a smooth trending market right now, so it might kind of do a bit of this before going to hit your target. Hopefully it doesn't hit your stop loss, but yeah, hopefully we do see a bit more downside there. But yeah, if we are going to see a continuation, because we did go and break through some structure on the left, so maybe that's the start of potentially a bigger move to the downside, potentially. So there might be a lot more follow through, but it just depends how messy we get and how long until the breakout. But yeah, I do like that position, looking pretty good. And yeah, just wait and see what the market does present to you. I will go take a look at Aussie CHF. We'll have a look at the DAX as well, because I know that is absolutely flying at the moment. I haven't actually took a look at the DAX for a while, but someone mentioned on Discord yesterday, so I had a look at it, and it was absolutely flying. But yeah, Aussie CHF, I did enter this one not yesterday, the day before, and price is still pretty much at my entry price. Did have a nice drop yesterday. We had some CHF strength in the market, but hasn't really followed through. We're coming back into the same level, which I shorted from, and price is pretty much at my entry right now. So I'm going to see how this continues. My stop loss is all the way up there. Got about 50 pips stop loss to the high end targets, more or less back down at that low. I will be looking to see if I can hold a lot further though, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that discussion when we get to that, because we still got to get to the target first before I decide to trail and stuff. But yeah, still looking at more downside for Aussie CHF. I entered up at the high. We had some nice trendline confluence as well, similar to the pound USD position I took earlier in the week. Nice lower highs here. Simply looking to anticipate a third one and to see if we can approach these lows again. I know I do have the higher time frame direction on my side. Overall, the market is pretty bearish, and I do think we are longer term heading back to these lows and these lows here as well. So I'm looking to see if I can play the longer term trend. At the same time, see if I can trade it at least back into support before I look to maybe close the trade early or look to manage it somehow. But I really like the entry with this one. We pushed back into a key level, broke through, then came back very strongly with that 4H engulfing candle. So that's what was my entry. Stop loss above the high, and you're going to see how this one plays out. But as I said, more or less still at entry. So we're going to see how that does continue. I did close the pound USD position yesterday, so I'm no longer in that position. But yeah, going to see how Aussie CHF does continue. But yeah, CHF's always very choppy, so I'm never expecting to catch a clean move. Of course, sometimes they do kind of rocket to the downside, and they will give you some nice moves, but it's definitely rare and infrequent. So of course, that was a lovely move there, but you can see very, very choppy stuff a lot. So I'm not going to be too optimistic in terms of the speed of how long it does take to play out. Might see a nice drop occasionally, but we could go through a long consolidation before it might actually eventually hit the target. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. But if you're looking to enter now, I suppose you can. It's still valid trade. but you do want to have your stop loss above the high over there. You can have it above the high there, but of course, you will look to increase the odds of potentially getting stopped out a little bit. I would strongly advise for CHF pairs to give yourself a bit more room when you're trading them because they do fluctuate a lot. You can see these random wicks here. They can be very, very deadly in terms of getting your stop loss and then seeing price move in your favor. So giving yourself a little bit more room does help, which is why I like the entry so much, because I'm at the level and price broke through already, so I can get a nice stop loss above the high while still entering after the fake out of the same level. So yeah, still a valid trade. We'll see how far we go, but yeah, still expecting more downside for that one. Manzondi, what's your opinions on platinum on the 4-hour chart? Okay, we'll have a look at platinum. Haven't looked at that one in a while. Amid US30 Nasdaq, sure, we'll take a look. What is platinum again? Is it XPT? Yeah, XPT. Okay, so platinum. Okay, last time I spoke, I believe I was talking about some longs down here. Yeah, okay, I remember now. Yeah, price was in this larger wedge. Again, we're expecting eventually a break to the upside like the other metals. However, we are still trapped in this range, so we got respect. We got respect what price is doing. Until we get the breakout, we can always anticipate price to roll over again. But yeah, I remember last time I was talking about some buys because I believe price was trading in this range here. I said if we're looking to long, you do want to kind of wait for price to push back into support first before finding some longs, back into this area, back into that area. And of course, we had these high lows building up as well. So it would be nice to catch a buy from there. And the benefits of entering down there is that if you do succeed, the risk reward could be very, very big if you're looking for a big swing. Of course, you don't necessarily have to, but the opportunity is there. But of course, we didn't get that retest there, and price just went to the upside anyway. Now we're trading back at the higher end of the range. So this is a nice place to short. Of course, it's a bit sketchy looking to short the metals at the moment because I feel like we're just in a bullish climate right now for the metals. So it's going to be a bit more difficult. But in terms of at least the technicals, we're back at a structure, a level which price rejected very aggressively from. We're coming back into a trend line as well. So in terms of technicals, it does make sense to be looking for shorts here, trying to anticipate a swing back down. In terms of entries, I'll probably wait to see if we can push a little bit higher because we had that first rejection. Price hasn't really done anything. We're still kind of consistent with these higher lows. So I'd like to see if price can push up again, maybe a bigger rejection, and look to enter after that. Stops above the high. It's an aggressive trade, but again, it's similar to the buy that I was talking about last time. It's a trade that if it does play out, the risk reward, will pay for itself big time. And you don't even have to necessarily aim for the swing lows. You can even look to aim halfway, maybe somewhere around here, and still make a very decent profit. So I like the opportunity with platinum because we're trading at some big areas where we could see some big reversals. Likewise, should the market break out, we can start speaking about some break opportunities and pullbacks and so on and so forth. But of course, we're not quite there yet. So I would be bullish long term for this one. I would be bullish. So I do think the breakout's eventually going to happen, whether it happens now or we push down and then it happens. But when we do get the breakout, then I'll speak about the buys and the pullbacks and those opportunities. But for now, still within the range. So expecting to see another rejection. I'm always expecting a range to hold or a level of resistance or support to hold until it doesn't. That's always my default anticipation. If I'm looking for it to break, then I have to wait for it to break, of course, before I can look for any buying opportunities or breakout opportunities. But yeah, massive resistance there. So I do think we will see some downside. I'd wait for it to break through the trend line before I'd say it's breaking out. If you're looking for the breakout, I'd wait for that trend line to go first and this high before I'd say it's not in consolidation anymore. Anyway, we'll go for US30 and NAS. What's up, Lauder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Darkshon, what is up? I have some sensitive question to ask you. I have like 10 minutes for private conversation in the future. You can you can direct message me on Instagram, or you can message me on Discord. You can join the Discord group and you can direct message me there. But yeah, either of those platforms will do well. Anyway, let's take a look at US 30 and NASDAQ. So US 30, I believe we saw some momentum, didn't we? Or was I seeing things? No, we did. It just hasn't amounted to much. So yeah, with US 30, it's still in consolidation, so there's not much I can say with this one. I was talking about some shorts the past couple of days. We did see a nice move to the downside on, what was that, Wednesday, Tuesday. Didn't see one yesterday. It pushed to the upside. I think that was after the USD weakness. But overall, it's just moving sideways. So as I said yesterday, as I said the day before yesterday, I would strongly advise to leave price action inside here alone until we do commit to the upside, because the overall direction is still very bullish. So I'm always going to be anticipating more upside. But in terms of finding opportunities, there's either the breakout we look to catch and the retest and the pullbacks afterwards, or price comes back to the low of the range and we look for opportunities there. Either which way, we're not looking to trade inside the middle here, because that's where you can get the most fluctuation. Stop loss is very vulnerable at these prices, just because that's where the chaos is. So the probability and the odds of price kind of wicking into your stop loss is far greater, and it's above the high here. And again, I'm not saying you won't get a stop loss if your stop loss is there. If it does get triggered, you can always find relatively simple entries to get back in if it is a fake out. Whereas here, it could just get very chaotic and very messy, and hard to read as well. So I like the opportunities down here. I like the opportunities there as well for the breakout. But at the moment, we're trading at neither area, so I'll leave US 30 alone until we get that move. But yeah, we did see some momentum yesterday, so I was getting excited, but looks like we just shot straight back down again. In terms of NAS 100. So NAS 100. So this one again, looking like we are breaking out. This is the resistance I've been looking at. It would be nice if the breakout was slightly bigger, but I think that's enough to be looking for at least some intraday opportunities. So if I drop to the hourly chart, it's a healthy enough breakout to start to look for some opportunities on some pullbacks and look to ride it to the high. Again, this is the high we're expecting price to take out. The prior all-time high, we haven't done that for a while. So I do still expect to see more upside. But this one has broken through resistance. As I said yesterday, for NAS 100s, either we get the break of the high and some pullbacks, or the market pulls all the way back to the low end of the range, and then we find some longs there. Looks like we've got the first situation, the breakout. So pullbacks and upside look good. You can target the highs there and see where we can go, because of course we could still go a lot further. But yeah, very bullish on NAS, very bullish on US 30 overall. That's where the direction is on high time frames. So that's the direction I want to trade in most of the time. And now that we've got a solid break with some nice momentum on those four-hour candles, I would be looking at some pullbacks for some upside and targets back at the swing high at 22,100. So yeah, pretty bullish on the indices in general, as I have been, but of course the price action just been very messy, so no kind of real opportunity. US 30, I still don't see an opportunity there, but it looks like NAS, we do have one. No problem, Darkshon. Ahmed, what is up? Check the DAX. Okay, yes, I will take a look at the DAX. Lauder, what's up? Bullish on pound CAD, bought from 1 point, and dollar CAD bought from 1.0s. Okay, buying dollar CAD and pound CAD, so it looks like you're pretty bearish on the CAD then. But yeah, we'll go through them in a moment. Let me have a look at the DAX. So yeah, the DAX has been absolutely flying. Look at that beautiful price action there from the DAX. So I've been looking for a bigger pullback. I was looking for the retest of this level, but it looks like the price did not see that happen at all. Because we've got a lovely break and retest over here. Price broke for the high very aggressively, looking for the retest and then the continuation. I was hoping for the pattern to repeat again. It still could do, but it's been a huge breakout. So it's going to have a really massive sell just to come back and retest that. So I think I would forget that level for now anyway. The retest of this high looks a lot more reasonable. But yeah, the DAX is still very bullish. Again, it's been bullish for a while, so a correction is expected. You can see the last time we had a correction, we did have a really aggressive sell-off here. Of course, despite that, price still continued higher, but there's still some force in that move. So I do expect to see us eventually go for a pretty big sell-off as well. It most likely just will be a correction for price to keep pushing higher. But I do expect the price to retrace. As, where, and when, again, we're not fortune tellers here. We can't say exactly when that will happen. There's nothing to reference to the left. These are all-time highs for the DAX. So it's just a matter of kind of being patient and waiting for that to happen. I think if you're looking at intraday setups, you kind of still look and take advantage of buys as long as we're still seeing nice bullish opportunities. So far, things look good. I would suggest if we could push back into this low here, maybe wick through. That could be a nice buy, at least back into the high there. And of course, you can leave some positions to run just in case we keep flying again. But overall, momentum on the intraday time frame still looks really good. Looks like we are starting to dry up a little bit with these price, with those bearish candles there and those wicks. So it looks like we are starting to dry up a little bit. But in terms of a decent pullback, if we see some decent wicks, nice shift in momentum, strong bullish engulfing candle, the odds of us getting back to the high are still pretty high. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, in terms of a swing trade, if that's what you're looking for, we definitely want to see the DAX pull back and at least back to 21,800 before we start to look for any type of swing opportunity. Intraday, sure, there will still be opportunities there. But yeah, still very, very bullish there. Okay, so we'll go through pound CAD and dollar CAD. Yusuf, can you please analyze a trade I took on pound USD? I was short in the pair on 6th of February, 1.2 for constant line. Okay, I'll go through that in a second. I'll just go through pound CAD and dollar CAD first, but I will have a look. Lord, I don't know how the news will affect this position later, but I'm waiting to re-enter. Should I be taken out? Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, no one really knows how the news is going to affect it until it's affected it, really. So, as I always say, the only important thing when you're trading through news, as long as your risk is managed, that's the only thing you really need to focus on. Of course, whether price goes in your direction or not, you won't be known until the news does happen. You might favor the news, but again, the news has got a mind of its own sometimes. So yeah, if that's what happens, if you do get taken out, but the trade's still valid, you still get a good entry, always look to re-enter. The market has a way of shaking people out and then going in their direction. So don't be afraid to re-execute as long as the risk is managed. Yeah, there shouldn't be any reason not to, really. Okay, and then in a similar position. Okay, we'll have a look. Can you please guide me on what you saw at the time and why you stayed away? Okay, we'll go through that. What's up, MJM? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, Amir? Welcome to the stream. Do you actually enter trades here? I don't normally enter trades on the stream. Sometimes I do, but I'm only in the stream for 2 hours of the day. Most of my entries are during London and during New York sessions. So most of my entries normally before 10 a.m. or at 10 a.m. And then most of my, of course, New York session entries are from like 1 to like 4 or 5 p.m. UK time. So the reason why I do stream now is because I'm less active on the charts. I can just focus on the analysis. But I do share my trades and any entries I take, I do share with you guys. Okay, so we'll go through USD CAD and pound CAD. So, and then I'll take a look at the pound USD opportunity that you mentioned, Yusuf. So yeah, pound CAD. So pound CAD, I don't actually like pound CAD, to be honest. I'm staying away at the moment just because it's a pretty flat market. If I go to the daily chart, I know there's a lovely trend at play here, but we've kind of lost that momentum a little bit, and we may be looking to continue. That could still be the reality of things. However, it's just that we're in the middle of support right now, between support and resistance right now. I know there's a bit of a minor level of support here, which looks like price is reacting to, which does make some sense, but overall just doesn't really fit what I'm looking for necessarily, which is why I'm the biggest fan of the market right now. But overall, it just looks like the market is pausing. It may be for continuation, it may be for price to reverse. We'll find out when we eventually get the breakout. But at the moment, looks like we're bouncing up some support there. May see a bit of a move to the upside. That's all I can see. In terms of continuation, in terms of momentum, the market is just very, very flat right now. So I don't really have too much edge when I'm looking at this personally. But Lauder, you said you've got a position on pound CAD you bought from 1.79052 7095 wait 790, sorry, my bad. 79052. You bought from there or sold? I think you mean 1.78052. That'll make a bit more sense. Because 790 price hasn't got there yet, unless you bought back over here, which I don't think that's the case. So yeah, if you bought from 1.78052, which is this price here roughly, it's a bit lower down, but generally speaking, in a nice area. It looks like we are forming a nice high low on the intraday timeframes. As we can see, 1, 2, 3 there potentially for a continuation, and a really nice shift of momentum down the hourly chart as well. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of pound CAD, so I'm not going to act like I am. But it does look like price is forming a bit of a bottom here. We've got those slower, lower lows that the market's making, gradually starting to make higher lows as well. So it does look like the momentum you saw from the past couple of weeks has kind of disappeared. It looks like we're slowly picking up the pace to the upside. So I would say, judging the 4-hour chart, a lot of wicks to the downside, strong close in that 4-hour candle. The odds of us getting back to the high there look pretty high. After that, we'll see what happens, whether we keep up that structure and we keep pushing. Where are your targets for the position, Lauder? How far are you looking to take the trade? Is it back to the swing high? Is it another area you're looking at? Let us know. But yeah, it's from an intraday perspective, I can see the momentum shifting and us picking up the pace. So I do like that aspect of it. In terms of the bigger picture, I'm not a big fan of that. So yeah, I would say targets back to the high make the most sense. Further than that, of course, but I would look to see if you can maybe manage the trade at the high in terms of maybe some partials. Doesn't have to be, closing the whole trade or a big chunk of the trade, but just in a situation where, okay, if price does reject the high, I can still walk away with a profit. That could be a nice area to look at. Same with the high over there as well. Of course, the high here could be a nice target, but I'll probably look at maybe trading a stop or taking partials along the way, because we are pretty far away from it. But yeah, from an intraday point of view, we are picking up the pace. I just don't like how the higher time frames are moving, and that's why I'm kind of staying away from pound CAD at the moment. In terms of dollar CAD, I'm actually pretty short bias on that one. You said you got long for dollar CAD at 1.41688. So where is that? 1.41688. Yeah, 41688. So that's a roughly here-ish. Okay, so right at the low here. So not a bad level. I believe we're testing some structure down the left. So definitely not a bad place to be looking to get long. A little bit, what's the word? On time. I think that's the right word, even though it probably isn't. In terms of, we've seen a really big drop, and price is likely to pull back. But we haven't really seen much of a pause. So I would say it's a bit aggressive getting to the trade that quickly. Of course, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't get to the trade or not. I'm just sharing what my thought process is. But in terms of dollar CAD, I'm looking for a lot more downside. I'm looking at this as potentially being a bit of a top for that bullish trend. So I'm not anticipating continuation. Of course, I could be wrong. But I do favor a bit more downside for dollar CAD. So I'm pretty bearish. In fact, I actually hope your trade does play out, because I'm looking for pullbacks for the retest of the zone. at 1.43, and then hopefully I can find some entries there to take it back down again. But yes, we have come back into some nice resistance turn support here. I remember I was actually looking to buy from this zone back when we had the first big move to the upside. I was looking for the pullback into this area for the buy, but it just never formed. And then we formed the consolidation, and we had the big fake out. So since then, I've looked to change my bias, and now I'm looking at some downside. But yes, we're in some nice area of support. Market's a bit stretched, so you would say it's due a bit of a pullback anyway. And I think the DXY is at support still. So even the dollar might have a bit of reaction, which could help out your trade. If you see some strength, of course, that was definitely going to help your position. But yeah, in terms of myself, I'm pretty bearish with dollar CAD. So I hope your pullback, I hope your move does play out, because I'm looking for that pullback, and I'm looking to see if I can short it a lot further. Okay, so I'll go through pound USD, take a look at Yusuf's position. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Good morning. Euro Aussie confusing me just watching it play now. Okay, I'll have a look at Euro Aussie as well. But yeah, in terms of the pound USD position, Yusuf, what would you say, please? We analyze the trader to pound USD, or shorting the pair on the 6th of Feb at 1.2452. Okay, 6th of Feb at 1.2452. So that is about there-ish. So your entry was here, and you're shorting the market. Yeah, 4 confidences. So you had the Fibonacci, which I assume is probably from the high here to the low. So price coming back into the 0.618, I presume. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong. Resistance level, with the double top retest. So of course, I think you're talking about the support level here, which will be acting as resistance, plus the double top over there as well. And trendline confluence, which maybe this trend line here. Probably something like that, more or less. So yeah, I mean, in terms of on paper, I think it's a good position. It's you're pro trend, you're following the momentum that price has recently seen. You've got some nice entry patterns there on the double top. Price tested the area once, came back, even through the high, which is a pretty good confluence. Nice rejection in terms of momentum, really heavy selling pressure coming to the market there. And of course, you're testing a nice fib level, and of course, testing some nice support, which will be term resistance. So in terms of the boxes being ticked, I think the trade plays out. The trade meets the criteria very, very well. Again, just because it's a good trade and it fits the plan well doesn't mean it's going to work out. The idea of trading is that you have an edge, which will play out over 50, 100 trades. Not every trade will work out. It doesn't matter how good the trade is. This could be the best trade in the world, and it could still fail. Because for retail traders, we don't have all the information of the market. We're trading for limited information, which of course is our strategies, which do provide returns over the long term, but short term, it can fluctuate. So first things first, you need to understand that any trade can fail, and just because it did fail doesn't mean you did something wrong necessarily. It's just a part of trading. But the reason why I stayed away is because the market started to become a bit more corrective. In terms of this move to the downside, it wasn't actually as forceful. The previous move here was very nice in terms of the gradient of it was very, very steep. The market saw a lot of momentum, and just overall the speed of the move was pretty quick. So I know there's a lot of momentum in the market, and the odds of us pulling back and continuing are pretty high. And even the pullback was very, very neat and tidy as well. I actually missed this trade, but it was a really nice pullback, very corrective. This was also a nice double top pattern as well, but broke the high slightly, but that one played out pretty well as well. In this situation, the market was just very, very corrective. So that's why I wasn't really too enthusiastic about the trade. And also the way the market pulled back for the double top, I wasn't happy of as well. Typically, when I'm looking for double top patterns, I want price to push back into the high pretty slowly, like this, and then give me the reaction at the high. Typically, these entries work a lot better than if the market creates a double top and speed and has a lot of speed back into the high. Of course, they sometimes work out as well. This is not like a hard rule that always plays out, but typically you want to see those double tops form a little bit more correctively on that leg where we do come back up. And this was pretty fast because we had that gap to the downside and price shot straight to the upside very impulsively. So that to me was a bit of a red flag as well. And of course, the things I'm mentioning now are things that I picked up over experience after trading these patterns for a while. You pick them up as you go along, and you find other things as well, which you'll pick up as you trade more frequently, and you pick up things and journal and note things down. But for those two reasons, I did stay out the market. And also looking at the DXY as well, because at the time on the 6th of Feb, so 6th of Feb, that was over there. So if you go to the dollar, the DXY 6th of Feb was about over here. By the time that I saw this move happen for the dollar, I already had a pretty bearish bias, at least for the short term. So I said, by the time we had this drop, I said we're looking for pullbacks and a continuation back into the low there. So from a dollar standpoint as well, I did fancy a bit more downside, which didn't really make sense in terms of buying, in terms of selling pound USD. Because if I had a bearish bias for dollar, it means that pound USD probably won't continue down. So for those reasons, I just decided to not take the trade. And again, there'll be different reasons for different times, and it has to do with context of the position. Under certain situations, I would have taken the trade, but because of those reasons and because where we're situated, I decided not to. And I decided to take some buys, which had the very similar confluence to you. We had a nice trend line position here as well. So we've got the trend line 1, 2, 3. We had a nice double bottom here as well, which is a similar situation to the double top over there you shorted from. And we had a retest of the 0.618, which is, of course, very similar confluence to what you took as well. So it's the same idea, it's the same trade. This one played out, that one didn't. Again, in a different universe, this trade probably failed and your trade worked. So you want to have the approach that, okay, any trade can work, any trade can fail, but also you want to journal your trades. So when you do look back over your losers, you can kind of look at reoccurring patterns. For example, seeing when the impulsive leg is very, very corrective, I can see that I don't win as many trades when that is the situation. Okay, let me dial back on those trades and take more trades when there is more momentum in the market, because the odds of us continuing in that direction are pretty high. So that could be something and something you add to your game as you go forward. But yeah, same situation, same pattern. One worked, one didn't. Again, that's edge. It's not supposed to work every time. But because this one had a lovely impulse, it was more impulsive. This one as well, the fact that we were pretty corrective means that, again, price potentially could be looking to form a bit of a bottom here. So I knew that, okay, price might be looking to push the upside. I also had a pretty bearish bias on the dollar as well. Of course, as I said, after that impulse, I was expecting dollar to continue falling to take out those lows too. So for that reason, that added a bit more confidence to that buy position, and that's why I took it, even though it had the same rules and same objectives as the trade that just didn't work out there. But the key lesson is that you gain more experience as you trade. And I think that's the key thing: strategy plus experience. Because if it was just strategy alone, as soon as you teach someone strategy, they're immediately profitable, which is very rarely the case. It takes a few weeks, few months, potentially a few years, but that's if you kind of don't really do your due diligence. If you journal actively and trade actively as well, learn from your mistakes, within a few months, you can find some consistency within a strategy. But the key thing is staying active. So yeah, hopefully that made sense on that pound USD. Where was I? Okay, so LFTJ will take a look at Euro Aussie. What's up, Anthony? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Lucky man closed. Dollar seat chef at resistance as retrace back. Almost touch man tree. Trading is key. Yeah, it can be very key, especially if you're looking to shoot for bigger targets. I think trading stop loss is a really good method in terms of managing trades. Of course, the market will fluctuate as well. So sometimes you'll be in a trade, so you entered here, Your original stop loss was here, your target's up there, and then price goes in your favor, and then you're trading behind. Sometimes price will tag you out the trade just to go in your favor. So in those situations, you be kind of pulling your hair out a little bit. But the idea of a trading stop loss is that you don't want to be too aggressive, especially when you don't have a lot of room between your entry and your target. If you do have a big target and your target's like way over here, and price has already hit some resistance levels, then you want to be aggressive because you don't want to give back that profit. But you don't want to be trading as soon as you're in profit and as soon as price ticks a few pips into your favor, because you're just going to be getting chilled out so much. So there's a balance to it. But yeah, trading stop loss is a great way to manage trade, especially if you're going for really far targets, because they allow you the possibility to get there. But also, if it doesn't get there, you still walk away with a profit as well. So if done correctly, very, very powerful way to manage trades. Anyway, let's go take a look at Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie, you said, is just all over the place. Confusing me just watching it play now. Yeah, I'll do the same thing as well. I mean, the way I'm looking at Euro Aussie is that we've had a really aggressive support level. Price faked that low. So to me, it looks like price is coming back for a retest of that level. Should we hold this area? It could be a really nice buy, actually, back to the higher end of the range. Equally, if we were to break back below, then I'll be bearish again with Euro Aussie, because originally coming into the week, I was looking for, go to the daily chart, I was looking at this as a breakout for Euro Aussie. And I said I'm favoring a pushback to the lows here, which I am. However, we've broken back into support, so I'm not looking at that trade anymore. Should we break back below, then I'm interested again, and then I'm looking for the same move back into support. But yeah, we've had a pretty big move to the upside for Euro Aussie, and now we're coming back into support. So either price is going to respect this level or it's not. We'll see how price reacts, whether we start forming some wicks, bullish engulfing candles. If that's the case, then yeah, we could see a really big move to the upside for Euro Aussie back to highs, or at least back to the midpoint anyway, which is around 1.665. But that's the way I see the market. It's just ranging, fake the low, back at the low end of the range. We'll see if we hold or not. But yeah, that's kind of how I see Euro Aussie. It's not the cleanest pair at all. Afonso and silver at 31.95, TP 34.15. Okay, nice. Silver's absolutely flying at the moment. Wondering whether to move my stop loss in profit or extend TP. What do you thoughts? Okay, I will go through that in a second. Lord, I had a pending order on my weekly 2 EMA for dollar CAD, so it triggered. Okay, so you're trading from the 20 EMA. Okay, yeah. I mean, Lord, I know you got your strategy, your entry, reasons for entry. So again, take your positions. Don't let me talk you out of any trade. I'm just sharing my opinions. Lighton, dollar CAD gave in. Yeah, dollar CAD, nice break to the downside. As I said, I'm looking for a lot more downside, but of course, I do want to see a bit of a pullback first for dollar CAD, and then I'll look to short it. But it is a pair which I'm looking at closely. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. So in terms of silver, you said you are in a long position and you're debating whether to extend your target or you should close the position. So yeah, into profit, or whether move stop loss into profit or extend take. Okay, we're looking to close the trade. Where is your take profit, Alfonso? Where is your take profit? Or where was your take profit? Because as you maybe prices has gone past your take profit. Maybe it was back at the highs here, and we've absolutely broken through those levels. In terms of where I'm expecting silver to go, it's back to the high here at 34.8. But again, I'm expecting price to get there, but how it gets there could be questionable in terms of it might just be a straight line like this as it's looking right now. It might not just keep pushing. It might consolidate for a bit. It might mess around, might have a big retracement, which could last maybe a whole month before we do get there. So whether we get there or not, I think is not the question. It's how we get there. Because I think the odds of us getting there are very, very high, looking at the overall trend, the weekly chart, monthly chart. silver is definitely in a very bullish environment right now. So the odds of us getting back to the high are pretty high, actually. So in terms of silver, I'm very focused with the buys as well. I like the breakout. I'm looking for pullbacks to get involved. But let's say if you got an entry somewhere in here and you're debating whether to trail stop or just extend your target or whatever you're looking to do, if prices hit your original target, I would always look to at least close and profit because price has done what you said it will do. 34.14. Okay, no problem, Lauda. Happy to help. 34.14. 34.14. Okay, so your original target's over there. So yeah, I'll probably just wait for my original target to be hit, to be fair. Of course, you could probably extend it a little bit, but I wouldn't do that in terms of just not taking profit. If that's my original target I set for myself for the trade, if price gets there, I want to bank majority of it. And if things look good to continue, I can leave 20, 25%. But I definitely want to withdraw most because that's the original plan. You kind of want to stick to that because if you don't stick to that, then you can run into mistakes in the future. But of course, you can be forward thinking in terms of, okay, silver, there's a lot of momentum right now. So it's a very bullish environment. It makes sense to try and hold back to the high there. So you can always leave positions to run 20, 25, 30%. Of course, the exact number is up to you, but I would respect your original target. But yeah, I think in terms of however you want to manage the trades, whether you want to trail stop losses or not, I would say just wait for your original target to be hit. If it does get hit, move your stop loss into break even, or a little bit in profit. So worst case scenario, you walk away for small profit, and then when it gets there, you can start to actively trail and leave positions to run back to the high and maybe even beyond that as well. But yeah, silver's looking very bullish. So I think the odds of price getting to your target are pretty high. It's just how we get there. Hopefully, we don't kind of mess around too much and we kind of just keep pushing. Okay, so where were we? Anthony, thoughts on the DXY and indices for entry day? Is that for entry day? Yes, I will take a look at DXY and indices for you. Sultani, yes, we'll go for dollar CHF as well. I haven't gone in for any of the yen pairs yet. That's kind of where my focus is. But yeah, I'll go through complete for which pair, DXY and indices. So yeah, the dollar, I don't really have a move I'm looking for right now because it's done the move I'm being expecting it to do, which is the push to the downside, take out these lows. Now it's a situation whether, okay, is price going to start to respect these lows now and start to push up, maybe give us a strong rejection. Equally, we could see a continuation of this bullish trend. Because if I expand to the higher time frames, there's still very much a bullish market right now, still trading above major support. So overall, it's still a bullish climate, it's still a bullish market. We haven't broken through any key levels of support, any higher lows haven't been taken out. So the overall direction to me is still bullish. So as we do approach the low we're currently trading at now, if price starts to reject it pretty heavily, I might be looking to short pound USD if things look good there again. I'll go over the opportunity I'm looking at in a second. But yeah, my kind of thought process right now is just kind of staying reactive. The move I've been looking for was this bearish move that's been completed. Now it's like, okay, I'm waiting for the market to show me its hand or where it wants to go next. Is it going to be a continuation back to the swing low here? Or is price going to be looking to get ready to turn around? I don't have the answer to that just yet. So I'm not gonna put forward a bias just because I don't have one. If I had a bias, I would share it with you guys, but I just don't at the moment. I'm kind of just waiting for the market to show me its hand. But what I am anticipating though is to see whether we react to this level aggressively. If we do, then that will give me confidence for some sells on pound USD, which would be if we get a strong rejection back underneath this level, I'll be looking for some entries to take it back down to these lows. So if I see that happen with dollar to the upside and pound to the downside, then I will be actually looking for some sells and some buys for dollar. But at the moment, that's not there yet. We might keep falling. So I don't really have a play in mind yet. I'm just kind of waiting to see what the market's going to give me. So hopefully by maybe Monday, Tuesday next week, I might have a bias for the dollar again. But right now, it's kind of just hit targets, really. In terms of the indices, though, very, very bullish. So that's the overall bias for the indices, expecting a lot more upside. Expecting a lot more upside. US 30 right now is just consolidating. So not really interested in terms of the current price action until we kind of break the highs or pull back into the lows, because this is a range. So it's either price breaks the highs or test the low of the range. Unless we do either one of those situations, I'm not really interested with the price action at the moment. Very, very flat. Of course, high time frames. We got a lovely trend on our hands here. At the moment, there's not really an opportunity to trade that. So yeah, if US 30 comes back to lows, buys there look good, or we suddenly get a breakout, of course, pullbacks afterwards will look good too. NAS, though, is a little bit interesting because that one looks like we've actually had a breakout. So you've got a lovely range high here-ish. It's kind of like an average. It's a bit weird. Some people could draw at the high there, but I always look to focus on the original point of the range. So if price is fluctuating a lot, I always draw from the start of where the range formed, because that's where price originally was showing respect to. These I kind of look at as fake outs, unless we start to respect a high maybe 2 or 3 times, then I'll start to focus a bit more on that new level. But same thing with this situation, always focusing on the original swing point. It's just something I've been consistent with. I'm sure if you focus on the high there as well, you find consistency there too. But yeah, since price has broken through that high, I'm now interested in pullbacks and continuations. I'm looking for price to go and take out that high there on the left at 22,100. Same with US 30. I said if price does push back to the low of the range, I think that would be a great place to long from, especially in terms of risk reward. Should it play out, you've got a really nice opportunity on your hands. But yeah, we've got the breakout, nice momentum, nice 4-hour candle closures to the upside there. So I would say maybe some trades on the hourly chart, maybe slightly lower, will look good on some retests, pull back to the zone, and see if we can get it back to the high. S&P, I've actually looked at this one, so I don't know what's happening. Okay, strong move to the upside, taking out some highs here. So that's good progress from the S&P, because we had these lower highs in, so things were looking a little bit dodgy. But now it looks like we're breaking through this trend line here. So it could be the start of more upside for the S&P. I think in terms of buys, it's still not a good time. Reason being, the market's still incredibly flat. Overall support there, overall resistance here as well. So just because we've broken through this counter trend line, I wouldn't get too excited. It could be the start of a move, but I'd wait for us to break the highs first, because that will have a lot more significance than the trend line break. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to kind of reject the high now and start to do something like this again. Breaking through the highs, especially firmly with a lot of momentum, that would be a strong sign to me that says, okay, the buys are back in control, and there's a likeliness that we will continue higher. So yeah, S&P 500 still a very bullish market as well. Zooming out, the market's still trending up, so naturally expecting more of the same. In terms of actually a good opportunity, I suggested if price gets back to support down here, this should be a nice place for a buy. If we shot down, that'd be a nice place to pick up some longs. We didn't do that. Looks like we are going to get the break to the upside, or at least the market is teasing that idea. Whether we actually see it happen or not, I'm not too sure. We might push back down. But if we do see a break to the upside, like we saw with NAS, I do like the opportunities to go along there on some pullbacks. So yeah, generally speaking, very bullish with the indices. No problem. Happy to help Anthony. Waiting. I was waiting in it. I don't normally say in it. I don't normally say in it. It's not really part of my vocab. I used to say it a lot when I was younger, but I don't know. I've stopped saying in it, even though I'm born and raised in the UK, so that is a bit surprising. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the indices. Just generally speaking, very bullish. Dollar CHF. Let's have a look. See. So dollar CHF, pretty bearish on this one as well. Again, the bias comes from the higher time frames. Massive weekly level, which price is rejecting 1, 2, and potentially the third time as well. You can see the 2 prior rejections we had, massive moves to the downside. Who's to say we can't do another one of those moves again? So the possibility for a lot of downside is pretty high. Of course, the moment we break through this, I will look to scrap that bias and start talking about some longs, but that hasn't happened yet. At the moment, price is doing a pretty good job at respecting resistance there. And we had a lovely double top last week, or maybe the week before. Price came back into the high, respected it very firmly. Nice push to the downside. The only thing that was missing here for dollar CHF was the break of these lows, which we didn't get. Price actually formed kind of like a higher low here. Then we formed another lower high there. So it was a bit weird in terms of the price action. I said pretty much price is just ranging really. So I want to see price commit to the downside, because what we've got here is a nice bullish trend, potentially price consolidating at the high, and now the break to the downside and the start of a bearish trend. So kind of looking at this high here and the lower high, and there's your shorts back to lows and so on and so forth, knowing that we're trading from a massive weekly zone up here. So very messy chart, and I know. Yeah, expecting a lot more downside for dollar CHF, just like I'm expecting downside for dollar CAD, just like I'm expecting upside for Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, because they're all kind of consolidating all together. You know, dollar CHF, this is the consolidation there. If I go to Aussie dollar, we're seeing a consolidation there as well, if I can spell it correctly, which I can't do at the moment. How do you spell AUD/USD? My mind just went blank there for a second. Anyway, so we've got consolidation here as well. Again, these are all dollar pairs. If we go take a look at New Zealand dollar too, consolidation there as well. If we go take a look at dollar CAD, this one's broken out, the consolidation, but again, we had a very long-term consolidation there as well. So what I'm trying to get at is that a lot of these USD pairs have had some really nice trends over the past few weeks. As we can all see, lovely moves, but now we've hit a brick wall where price is consolidating. And if you do see some nice breakouts, that to me insinuates that we're about to go through at least a little bit of a bearish phase here. It might not be a massive reversal in terms of we reverse this whole trend here. That's difficult to say, but at least we do probably put in a few lower lows and lower highs in, even if it's just a longer term correction for a bigger move to the upside. But that at least does present some nice shorts for dollar CAD, shorts for dollar CHF, longs for Aussie dollar, longs for New Zealand dollar. And those are some really nice opportunities, which I'll look at over the next few days, few weeks. Dollar CAD's already made that move to the downside, so pullbacks for this one already look good. And I would expect naturally more downside there for dollar CAD, and I expect dollar CHF to join the club as well. Just need to see that break to the downside to really show to me that okay, the bears are in control. This is potentially a bit of a temporary top, or maybe just a top in general, and we find some pullbacks or some downside. So dollar CHF, I'm pretty bearish on, but it's taking its time. So yeah, that is my take. Lighton, how we covered Aussie dollar. Okay, I'll go through that shortly. I kind of just briefly touched on it there, but I'll go through it in a bit more. LFTJ, my girlfriend, my neck. Valentine's things for today, Miko. Okay. No worries, my man. Take care. Have a good one. CS Integrated, what is up? Hope you're doing well. DXY bleeded hard. Yes, it did. Very nice push to the downside. Very nice level, but can break down or up. Yes, true. I'll go through Aussie dollar quickly, then I'll touch on the DXY. I haven't really gone through the yen pairs yet, so I'll go through that shortly. Yeah, in terms of Aussie dollar, the way I'm looking at price right now is that it looks like a really nice buy that is getting ready to form. If I go to the weekly chart, you can see you got the swing low here, massive push to the upside, and where's price? Right back at the same area again. And I do think, judging on how price is reacting with the level, the fact that we formed a really aggressive double bottom here, so we tested it once, tested it twice. I just move this box out of the way. So we tested it once over there, tested it twice. So we're seeing prices having a hard time trying to break through support. So the odds of us having a little bit of a breather to the upside are pretty high, given the fact that we've been falling really aggressively for the past few weeks. The market is quite overextended to the downside. So the odds of retracement are pretty high, and especially given the fact of where we're trading, how we're rejecting it. So that's why I do have a bit of a bullish bias right now for Aussie dollar. And at the moment, it looks like we're breaking to the upside and taking out the highs here on the left, which again adds a bit more fuel to the fire. So for Aussie dollar, I'm actually looking at longs for this one. I'm trying to clean up the chart a little bit. I'm looking at longs for this one. However, I do want to see price break to the upside a little bit more aggressively and a little bit further before I do look for pullbacks. Um, just because you've only just about taken out the high. I want price to really commit to the high first before I pull back. But yeah, in terms of the opportunity, this is what I'm looking for. Impulse outside of the range, pull back. Looking for retest maybe on the top end of this range here. So that will be the area for entries. But generally speaking, this consolidation is what gave us the breakout. So there's a good chance if we come back and retest it, we'll see the continuation from there. And in terms of targets, that's where it gets a little bit tricky because you don't want to be too aggressive. There are some levels here on the left on the daily chart to keep a close eye on. Below there as well, some minor levels here too. So I wouldn't say the target is as clear cut. But let's say, for example, if we do break to the upside, create a new high over here, let's say, then naturally that would be a good target to have. You can secure most of your profit there and leave some positions to run if you want to take it a bit further. But yeah, Aussie dollar looks really good. I like the upside. Nice breakout of the highs there. I want to see a bit more upside first. But the idea is that we're looking for pullbacks and some more upside now. So yeah, pretty bullish on this one. Okay, so we'll go through the dollar. We'll take a look at the DXY, and then we'll start to investigate some of the yen pairs because that's kind of where a lot of my focus is at the moment. In terms of new positions, I mean, I'm still trading Aussie CHF at the moment, but price is still roughly around my entry price, hasn't really gone anywhere. We did see a bit of nice downside momentum yesterday, but we kind of raised most of that. So I'm going to see how that position goes. But in terms of new positions and something I'm looking to enter, yen pairs are still where I think it's at. And some of the USD pairs, which are getting on now. Like I said, dollar CAD looks good. Aussie dollar's getting there. New Zealand dollar is taking its sweet time, but I do believe it's getting ready. So again, nice push to the upside. Looking at some pullbacks there too, but just haven't got the breakout yet. But in terms of the dollar, nice move to the downside yesterday. Things look pretty bearish. In terms of the next move, I'm not quite ready or sure what I'm expecting just yet. Like I said, long term, everything is still pointing up to me in terms of this trend here. However, we are seeing some signs that we're struggling to the upside with the lower high over there. The fact that we are breaking through lows. If we do reject this area aggressively, I will start to look for some buys here for USD. Equally, if we do break through, then I'm just going to be expecting more lower highs to form, just like we did over there, We had the original high over there, but we are steadily falling. So would be looking at another one, and perhaps I'll probably looking to target the lows here. So with DXY, I'm more bearish than bullish at the moment. And if we continue to break through support firmly, I will be looking for more downside. So I'm kind of favoring that a little bit. We well could respect support here and push to the upside, but unless it's very aggressive, I'm not looking to take any positions. And again, I don't trade the DXY, but I use it as a big indication of what I think the dollar's going to do next. And the one I would look to trade would be pound USD because pound USD is just about taking out the highs there. But should we have a really aggressive recovery of that level, so price closes back below with a strong bearish engulfing candle, that would be an entry for me. And I would be looking for a swing to the downside. But at the moment, of course, we're very bullish. We're trading firmly above that level. And for all I know, pound USD just wants to continue higher. And of course, dollar continue lower. If that's the case, there is no trade for me to take. And I would just let price do its thing. But yeah, at the moment, like I said, don't really have a set bias right now for the dollar. I mean, in fact, I'm expecting a lot of USD pairs to continue retracing. So I expect dollar CAD to keep falling, expect the Aussie dollar to see a lot more upside. So I guess I'm bearish on USD at the moment, but looking at the DXY and looking at the DXY's price action, it's not the time to be looking to short as we approach the low, of course. So yeah, I'm kind of just waiting for more information. Most of the time, I don't really have a clear-cut bias for a market. There will be times where things are looking very clean and I have a very clear bias for a market. There'll be times where things look a little bit choppy, but maybe I can work something out, maybe in a shorter term period. And there'll be times where things are just completely I have no idea what's going on, and I'm just kind of waiting for price to develop. And there'll be times where price is kind of delivered on a bias. Now I'm waiting to calculate my next move, and that's kind of really what's happened with the dollar here. It's hit that low. Now I'm looking to see how price reacts to it, and then I'll probably have maybe a bias by probably early next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which I'll look to trade for probably for the next week at least. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with the dollar. Just seeing and waiting to see what happens next. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Thanks for USD Ken, Aussie dollar analysis. No problem, man. No problem. But yeah, judging on my analysis on those pairs, I'm pretty bearish in dollar at the moment. In terms of the yen pairs, we haven't really looked at all, to be honest. I'm still actually looking for shorts on these yen pairs. I know we've had some really aggressive retracements, but I'm actually still expecting a lot more downside. And these pairs I'm still very concentrated on. However, in terms of opportunities, I would argue they're not quite there yet. So that's why I'm kind of just making sure I'm on the sidelines and making sure I'm waiting to get ready to strike when the iron's hot. In terms of euro yen, the idea I'm looking at is still the massive head and shoulder on the higher time frames. You've got the left shoulder over there, you've got the head over there, you've got the right shoulder over there. This is, of course, your lovely neckline of the pattern. I'm expecting price to break to the downside. So that's very much the move I'm looking for. But there's a very different, trading that move and analyzing that move are very different things. And analyzing it's pretty simple. I'm expecting a move down, but a lot can happen. We might move up first. We might continue to consolidate. We might fade to the downside first. So there's so many things can happen between now and that bias actually getting delivered. So trading is where the patience comes in, where the strategy comes in, entries come in. Can I not delete this? There we go. And all of that comes into play. So right now, in terms of the 4-hour time frame, which is where I take most of my entries, market's not quite ready yet to be shorted, at least according to my rules and what I'm looking at. The idea I'm looking for is that, okay, we've had a lovely bearish leg here. This was the correction of that leg. Another nice bearish leg there again. Now I'm looking at this as a correction of that same leg. I'm basically looking for another lower high for another move down. So, of course, you've got one over there, second one over there, and I'm looking at a third. Again, it might not necessarily be in that spot specifically, but more or less that's what I'm looking for, a high to form, to take it back into the low, and so on and so forth. So pretty bearish there with euro yen. However, in terms of entries, I kind of want to see price push back to the high again. So see if we can maybe consolidate, push back to the high, maybe spike the high, and then that will become my entry for euro yen. Because this move here was so aggressive that it almost looks like price is now impulsing to the upside, correcting itself for potentially another impulse, which is something I don't want to see as a seller of euro yen, or at least a wannabe seller of euro yen. So if this is just price pulling back to continue back down, then I want to see some really sharp rejection at the highs for me to get into some shorts, because at the moment this move here isn't as impulsive as this move. The pullback is more impulsive than the supposedly impulse leg. So I need to see some really sharp rejections, wicks, bearish engulfing candles. I need to see price kind of stabilize itself a little bit as well, kind of consolidate, fail at the highs a few times before I do jump into a trade. But then if I do get those confirmations, I'll be in and looking to trade it back to the lows. Same situation for pound yen as well. Pretty aggressive move to the upside as well. Again, you can look at this past bearish leg here. It's not that impulsive, at least compared to this leg here. That leg was pretty clean. This one, not so much. And again, you can see a pretty impulsive reaction to the upside. Not what you want to see in terms of a pullback. This could almost be looking like a V-shaped pattern, impulse down, impulse up. Again, V-shaped patterns represent more upside. So it's a situation where the yen pairs are still within structure and they're still within, still holding high. So I'm still expecting more downside. However, in terms of actually taking a good trade, which is all I want to do at the end of the day. Take a good position. Not quite there yet as well. So for pound yen, you'd see some consolidation, some aggressive rejection at the highs for me to convince too short again. Again, I had an entry on CAD yen yesterday, but I decided not to take the position. If I did take the position, I'll be in a little bit of profit, but all in all, price hasn't really moved anywhere. So that was the entry for the trade. Price coming back to retest the high here. Again, literally just looking for the next swing high and looking to swing it back into the low. So risk reward would have been pretty good, roughly 1 to 3.8. So good risk reward, good entry signal, nice rejection at the high. However, I decided not to take it because number one, I prefer euro yen, pound yen, Swiss yen, dollar yen. They looked a little bit better at the time, and they still kind of do now. So I'm more comfortable trading those pairs. Secondly, it's very, very corrective. The bearish leg here was just very corrective on the way down. So this doesn't give me much confidence in terms of shorting CAD yen. If this was a strong drop to the downside and then price corrects itself, then yeah, I would be all over that short. But this was just a very corrective, very tied move to the downside. So it doesn't give me much confidence in terms of continuation. And secondly, or thirdly, this move here was very aggressive to the upside. If it was a bit slower, I might be a bit more enthusiastic about the position. But I'm seeing more momentum in the bullish legs than I am in the bearish legs, which again, the whole fundamental idea of a trend is that we're going to see more strength from the move down and less strength from the way up. That's just how a trend works most of the time. Of course, there will be exceptions, but those exceptions don't, disprove the whole rule of how a trend works. So for those reasons, I did decide not to take the position. And again, sometimes trades that I do stay out of do work. It's not like I've got a magic or crystal ball that tells me which trade is going to work or not. Of course not. But for those reasons, I decided to stay out of the market. This well could play out, but it's just not a trade for me to take. I'll journal it, record it, so I can stack up that information in my journal so I can look back and say, okay, these positions are tending to work out. What can I do to add this to my game? At the moment, not enthusiastic about the position, so I didn't take the trade, but we'll see how that goes. Still bearish. I'm still expecting a really big move to the downside for CAD yen. It's a similar situation to euro yen in terms of we've got the head and shoulder pattern there, left head, and of course this is your neckline. So again, I do expect to see a really big drop in the next few weeks, potentially months, for CAD yen as well. But again, in terms of trading it, very different to the analysis. Analysis, I'm very much bearish. That box is ticked. But now finding an entry, that's where it becomes a little bit more difficult. You have to making sure you're on your game. Otherwise, you can take a bunch of losses before you actually do catch the win. And the win might not even cover the losses there. So there's no point in taking the losses in the first place. In terms of the other yen pairs, Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, these are still pretty flat. So not really interested in them at the moment. Again, we've had a bit of a consolidation here. Price is breaking back inside the consolidation. So that whole kind of expectation of a nice breakout, pullbacks, and more downside to the wick low is just not at play anymore since we're back within the range. So just no longer interested really with the price action with the Aussie yen. New Zealand yen, same situation here as well. Breakout of the range. Looks like we're trying to get back inside the range. It hasn't been a clean break and retest either. Again, very corrective move to the downside here, followed by a stronger push up. Not really what you want to see. And just not really giving me clear-cut trade entries or a rejection of that support level. So for that reason, again, staying away from New Zealand yen. Still bearish bias, but just no entry to take. Dollar yen kind of left without me yesterday. Really strong reaction at the high. Of course, I know USD has been pretty weak as well, so I believe that's probably the main reason why we've had such a clean move for dollar yen. Again, dollar yen really strong move to the upside. It was a bit too impulsive. I wanted the price to kind of consolidate a little bit, again, spike the highs before I look for any continuations. Dollar yen just dropped flat on its face. So again, no chance for me to get into a trade. If we do get back up there again, I will still consider shorting. But it's got to be good. It's got to be kind of a slower push to the upside. I don't want to see price shoot to the upside again. That's just not a good sign if it is a pullback. But I am still bearish, still looking at lower highs, just waiting for a good entry signal to get into the trade. So hopefully we take our time and get a nice entry. And finally, CHF-JPY as well. Another market which I do like. I do like this one to the downside too. Really consistent lower lows and lower highs. And the thing about CHF-JPY is that the last bearish leg was actually pretty nice and tidy. So we had the double top over there, lower high, lower high, lower high, and another one over there as well. And the last bearish leg was pretty smooth. So I don't mind getting involved here with CHF-JPY. But again, need to see some development here, which we are seeing. Price is moving pretty flat, which is a good sign. It means momentum here has dissipated, has run out of energy. Of course, if it does kick back in again, that's all for nothing. But if we can start to stall a little bit, maybe fake the highs, this could provide a nice little trade somewhere to take it back into the lows. As long as we don't take out structure, which is this high here. Yeah, looking for some sells and looking to see if I can take Swiss yen back to the lows. So that's kind of where I'm at with the yen pairs. Bit awkward, but they're in some areas where shorts do look good. So the location makes a lot of sense. They're pretty much all trading in areas where a low high could form. But just in terms of how they got there and how they're looking, not quite dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So if they can clean up a little bit, yeah, there could be some nice entries next week. Then add oil. Yes, I'll take a look at oil. I haven't looked at oil yet today. Sell position 71,272, and we'll let you know if the trend is my true friend. Okay, let's have a look at oil. So oil, you're in a short, and your position is 71,272. 71,272. Okay, so your entry is around there somewhere. So, okay, so you're going to let me know if the trend's your friend. So, of course, you're shorting, trying to take advantage of the current trend, at least on this time frame anyway, which is pointing down. And actually, I'm pretty bearish on oil as well in the higher time frames. I do think from a weekly standpoint, we're due a move to the downside back to these lows. So, long term, I'm pretty bearish. We're still pretty consistent with these lower highs here. So, and this looks like it's the next one. So, if that's the case, I do expect us to head to the support level. So on the higher time frames, it agrees with your bias. Of course, lower time frames, we've had a pretty nice bearish trend, which has been at play for a while. Although we're probably showing some signs that we're slowing down, but the trend is still very much at play. I suppose your targets are back at the lows. So back at maybe 70.21, 70.2. Your target's probably back there somewhere. So yeah, I like the position. Come back into a nice level on the left there. Some prior resistance. Price is rejecting that pretty well there too. If we can hold that, that could be the continuation. Nice drop to the downside there yesterday or the past couple of days. So there's a lot of momentum in the market at the moment. And of course, the overall trend is still to the downside too. So I would suggest if you're looking to target this area here, it's a pretty sensible move. You're not looking for anything crazy. You're in line with the momentum of the market, at least on these lower time frames. Higher time frame bias, I share the same bias as well. So I don't really see much issues with the trade, to be honest. I just wish the trend was a little bit more, what's the word? A bit more aggressive. Because you can see we're only just about pinching the lows before price reverses. So it's a sign of a market that's a bit more corrective. But it doesn't mean that we can't, of course, do it again and push up to the upside. So that's the only thing I don't necessarily not the biggest fan about the position. If we were a bit more forceful in our bearish legs, I think that will be a cherry on top. But again, I wouldn't say that's enough just to say to scrap the trade. So yeah, I do like the position. Nice location, nice direction as well. And I suppose if your target's at the low, look good. And if you are looking to target further than that, I think this would be a smart area to look to at least pay yourself a little bit, just in case we do bounce to the upside, since every time we do just pinch the lows, the market does push the upside pretty aggressively. So there's a chance we do that again. TP 70.304. 304. Okay, so pretty much the low. So yeah, I like it. I like it. Looks good. Take profit in a healthy area. Risk reward looks pretty good as well. Probably looking at least maybe a 1 to 2 there, something like that. Maybe close to that anyway. So, and nice location as well. So I like the trade. If only the trend was a bit steeper, I think that would be the cherry on top there. But yeah, well, let me know if the trends your friend. If not, that's gonna be a big it's gonna be a big conundrum there, because that's what everyone says, the trend's your friend, and Ninad will find out for us if the trend is actually our friend. And if that's not the case, then whole trading career is a lie. But yeah, I like the position. I'm bearish on oil as well, looking for it to get there. Of course, I know you're not targeting there, but it's always nice to know that you're trading in that direction, and you're expecting more downside. Excuse me. Hey, no problem, Nad. Happy to help, my man. Happy to help. If you guys are enjoying the streams, by the way, please be sure to smash the like button. It does really help out. If you're finding the streams useful, entertaining, enjoying, educational, anything remotely positive, just show some love in the stream. It does really help out. Appreciate everyone who has liked so far. It does make a difference. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. Of course, hit the bell as well, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But in terms of my current watch list, it's got a few USD pairs in it, dollar CAD shorts, basically just looking at pullbacks there, more downside. It's also got Aussie dollar longs, since we've just got the break of the high, so that's now interesting me a lot. I think that could be a nice position for next week. Of course, it's already Friday now, so I don't think I'll be looking to enter any new trades. All the positions I'm looking at need some time to develop a little bit. So yeah, Aussie dollar longs look good. New Zealand dollar could find itself on the watch list next week, but it just hasn't broken out of the high yet, so I'm not considering it yet, just because it's still in the range. So the moment it does break the high, I will add it to my watch list as well. Same with dollar CHF. If it's a strong break, if it's a big enough break, I'll add that to the watch list too, if it does see a nice move to the downside. But again, still in the range, so not interested. But dollar CAD and Aussie dollar are. Silver on the watch list firmly. Really nice break to the upside today. Really nice breakout. Leave behind some solid levels to trade from. If you can come back and retest that, I think there's a very good chance we do bounce and see more upside. So it's just a waiting game now with silver. Can we get the pullback? Can we get the retest? If we do, of course, waiting for necessary confirmations, not just jumping straight in. But if we do, there's a good chance we do bounce and at least trade it back to the high. Of course, as I said a million times, this is where my longer term target is. But even if you do catch a buy here on like the hourly time frame back to the high, still a wonderful trade. And you can always leave some positions to run if you're looking to maximize your gains there. But yeah, really nice opportunity on silver. So looking for silver longs. A lot of the USD pairs I'm looking at, I'm favoring USD weakness there. So that's kind of my bias. Even though I'm looking at the dollar, I don't necessarily have that bias anymore, because we're at support now. So I want to see how price reacts. In terms of the yen pairs, so euro yen looks good. Just need some development there for some shorts. In terms of the location we're trading, it's a nice place. Just need to wait for actually a good short signal. Same for GJ, trading in a nice place as well. And when I mean trading in a nice place, all I mean is that one area where a lower high could form, and it makes sense for a lower high to form given how we've been moving. So again, GJ, nice place, just not ready to short yet in terms of entries. Swiss yen, likewise as well. Nice area where, again, a lower high could form, just as we've been doing, just haven't got the characteristics there yet as well. So Swiss yen shorts, pound yen shorts, euro yen shorts, dollar CAD shorts, Aussie dollar longs, silver longs. CAD pairs, no CAD pairs quite doing it for me. Haven't really gone through the CAD pairs yet, but I don't really have a clear-cut bias or a clear-cut trade with them. Aussie CAD, no idea what this guy's doing. It's just kind of, it looks like a potential bull flag there. The fact that we're rejecting the lows so much, I kind of do expect us to break to the upside, but I have been looking for continuations back into the low. I've been looking for the continuation of this trend to continue back to the lows there. But the fact is, we're taking so long just to see that move. And this move here just looks like a bull flag to me. So yeah, not a big fan of Aussie CADs. If anything, I would favor more upside at the moment, but it's just not something fit my plan or fit my bias right now. So not interested in Aussie CAD. Pound CAD, as I spoke about earlier in the stream, kind of just in the middle of a range right now. So not too interested in this one. So you've got the range high there, you got the range low, pricing completely flat there. So not much to do. New Zealand CAD, this was pretty bearish, but looks like it's finding some bullish momentum from somewhere. Really strong push to the upside. I've still been expecting and talking about a move back to the lows there at 0.8, but we're just slowly grinding and judging on Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD looks like it might push to the upside. I wonder if New Zealand CAD is going to join with it. But at the same time, I don't really see an opportunity to trade New Zealand CAD to the downside. Maybe if you start to slow down, start to form some resistance, there might be a nice sell. Yeah, kind of keeping up with these lower highs here, possibly. But that takes time. It's going to take a few candlesticks to develop. And at the moment, not really getting that. So no real opportunity there for New Zealand CAD, or at least a good one as well. Because it doesn't have to be an opportunity right now for it to be added to the watch list, but it's got to at least look promising. In terms of EuroCAD, again, this one very sideways as well. So not really the biggest fan of this pair right now as well. This is the daily chart. This is kind of the range I'm looking at. Equal highs up there at 1.51, equal lows around 1.43. So overall, the market is very, very sideways and just not really showing much promise. I think the moment we do break to the upside, then I'll be interested. Of course, that might take a few days, few weeks, maybe even a few months, because we haven't broken the high, to be honest, in the past 2 years. So who knows? But again, that's why I trade a wide range of markets. So I'm not kind of cornered into trading something I don't really want to trade. And EuroCAD is definitely something I not really want to trade. Of course, there'll be some intraday and small opportunities within this, but again, nothing that looks good to me. And not that I can't spot lower time frame opportunities. I can look for lower time frame opportunities as well, but I don't really see any good ones right now. So yeah, EuroCAD for me, just overall not really happy with the price action. So CAD pairs in general, not interested. CHF pairs, of course, I'm at the moment trading Aussie CHF, and I do have a bearish bias for a few CHF pairs. So I would say CHF is something I am interested in, but I'm not really looking to get involved into another CHF pair until this one is at least risk-free. The trade is still live. Price is pretty much at my entry right now. Stop loss is above the highs there with a 51 pip stop loss and targets down there. So until I remove risk, I'm not going to jump into another CHF position. But I'm quite bearish on a few CHF pairs. And the idea of this position is I'm looking to try and catch the next lower high, one over there, second there, and this. I'm anticipating it as the third high, take us back into the lows. And if everything runs well, I will leave a small percentage to run back to the lows here. Because then the whole idea of my swing bias is that I'm looking to trade it into a reasonable target. So I'm not looking for, like a 5, 6, 7 to 1 in one go. I'm looking to normally achieve 2, 3 to 1s, take most of my profit or potentially half my profit. Depends how likely I expect the long-term target to be hit. If I think the long-term target to be hit is very likely, I might take a small percentage. But in this case, because Aussie CHF is a very choppy pair, there is a big level of support just here as well. I probably would take a good chunk at this low and leave a small percentage to run. And also because CHF is a very choppy pair as well, I could get caught in a really long-term kind of weird consolidation. It might eventually get there, but it could take potentially months. And I don't really want to hold a position with full size for months on Aussie CHF because I'll be paying negative swap as well. So that will definitely eat into my profits. It probably won't do big damage in terms of I have no profits left. You just eat into it a little bit, and especially because I know Aussie CHF can take its time, it just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I'll look to see if I can trade it back into those lows, and then we'll discuss about extended profits. I may even close a little bit early Depends what we do as we come back into this area. We may well come into that area from a higher low, start pushing back up again. But we'll see. But that's the only position I'm in at the moment. I closed pound USD yesterday. Other CHF pairs that I do like, pound CHF is something I'm keeping an eye on. Not on the watch list at the moment anymore. Still looking for a push back to the lows here, but I really want to see price break the consolidation to the downside before I do get into any type of trade. Because the idea I'm looking at is, again, lovely high over there, drop, lower high over there, drop, looking at a third high for another drop as well. But this has just been such a slow grind. It's been a tough watch for pound CHF. But the moment we do break to the downside, if we do, then the odds of us getting to the low there are just very, very high, especially if you break out with a lot of momentum. So that is something I'm interested in, but we're a long, long way away from that. So as I said, not really interested. In terms of New Zealand CHF, again, I like this one, but I chose Aussie CHF instead because the entry is a little bit better. We managed to wick through the high, which added to the confidence of the trade. But equally with New Zealand CHF, expecting a push back to the lows. If I go to the daily chart, you can see the overall direction of the trend. Still very consistent with all these lower highs, 2, 3, 4 there, and potentially 5 there. Of course, not confirmed yet, but anticipating it to be number 5. And if that's the case, expecting a swing back to the lows there, 0.49. So very, very bearish with New Zealand CHF as well. Expecting a lot more downside, but because I'm trading Aussie CHF, there's no point me to jump into New Zealand CHF as well, because these guys are going to do the exact same thing pretty much. Both going to fail, both going to work, so no point in doing that. And lastly, I also do like CAD CHF to the upside as well, which is funny because I do have a bearish bias for all other CHF pairs pretty much. But the only reason why I'm looking at some buys for CAD CHF is because we're trading in this channel and we've been hugging the lower end of the channel for a while now. And we've been consolidating as well. So the moment we break to the upside, if we do, there's a good chance we're going to see a push back to the higher end of the channel for the next test of this area. So if we do get a nice breakout, pullbacks on the lower time frames will look good. And there's a good distance to ride it as well. So risk reward should look pretty decent. Something like this and onwards and upwards. So CAD CHF, I'll be interested if you do break to the upside. Of course, no sign of that happening just yet. So just sitting on the hands really and waiting for price to do its thing. But as I said, I'm currently in the Aussie CHF, so I won't be looking to enter any new CHF positions until this is risk-free. At the moment, price is still at my entry, so still a long way away until that happens. Sultan, what is up? Which pair should we be alert to take the trade if the price action? If the price act to the position JPY pairs or any others. If you're asking which pairs we should be looking at in terms of entries and opportunities, I would say the yen pairs look the best at the moment. And I mean, I've got, like I said, I've just gone through my watch list there. There's a few pairs I'm looking at. There's nothing I'm looking to enter just yet. There's a few yen pairs which are in some nice areas for some shorts, but just lacking some good entries. So, for example, Euro yen's in a really nice place for a short right now. It's had a decent pullback. In terms of how price has been moving with the past lower highs, looking for the next one. We've generally pulled back into an area where another low high could form. But in terms of how we're moving, we've had a really impulsive move. So it's not quite ready yet to be shorted. And that's why I'm kind of waiting for price to kind of consolidate, develop a little bit, maybe fake the high before I do take any shorts. So I don't really have a pair right now, which I'm looking to enter any positions on. If there was, I'll be entering the position, but I don't really have any pairs for that. Like I said, I've got a few pairs which I'm looking at. Euro yen shorts, pound yen shorts, Swiss yen shorts. They're all kind of at areas right now which I would be looking to short from. So Euro yen's at a nice place, pound yen's at a nice place as well. Really nice place to be shorting from as well. We've got past lower highs here, equal highs there. Then all I'm looking to do is try and catch the next one. So that's at a nice place as well. And CHF JPY is at a really nice place too. You can see the past lower highs price has been making when an area, which again, we could form another one. So this is one to keep an eye on as well. Price action not quite ready to be shorted yet, but we're getting some signs that we're slowing down. Maybe if you can fake the high, that could be a nice entry there. Maybe this afternoon, but probably next week. So yeah, JPY pairs look good. USD pairs, I need some pullbacks. So I'm not looking for entries just yet. So for example, dollar CAD, really nice break to the downside, really nice breakout out of support here. But in terms of entries, I would wait for us to push back into structure first before shorting. Aussie dollar, really nice break to the upside. But I want to see a little bit more upside first before looking to buy, because the breakout has been pretty minimal. I want to see a bit more conviction to the upside first before I get into any long positions for any retests. So I do want to see a bit more upside there, and then I'll look for some pullbacks. But again, the idea of Aussie dollars, really nice breakout, looking for some pullbacks now, and expecting price to continue there. So yeah, quite a few pairs on the watch list, but no entries just yet. But again, make sure you do check out my Telegram. I do post some of my entries there as well. So if you want to follow along or see what I'm looking to trade when I do take the trade, then check out my Telegram. The link to that in the description below. At the moment, no new positions. I don't think I'll look to enter any more trades this week. Of course, it's already Friday. Let me have a quick check for the news. I think we had the Euro news already, or is it not out yet? Okay, you already had the Euro news GDP earlier. In terms of USD, we got some retail sales coming out this afternoon, 1:30 UK time. That's pretty much it, really, in terms of the major news. And then next week, let me have a brief look. Ooh, okay. Aussie interest rate decision. That's on Tuesday at 3:30 a.m. UK time. Rates expected to drop from 4.35 to 4.1. So might see a bit of a weak Aussie next week. I am selling Aussie CHF at the moment, so that could play into my hands pretty well. But we'll see. We've still got a lot of trading to do between now and Tuesday morning. But hopefully that'll play into my hands, but we'll see. USD unemployment later that day. This is still Tuesday next week. Had inflation. And then Wednesday, we've got inflation for pound. FOMC minutes for USD in the evening. Then Thursday, we've got jobless claims for USD. Inflation for yen in the evening. And Friday, retail sales, PMI. So not much in terms of big news. Of course, in terms of my personal trading, I'm trading Aussie CHF. So that Aussie interest rate, I'm going to keep a close eye on. But other than that, FOMC minutes, but FOMC minutes is sometimes a hit and miss. Sometimes it can be a bit of a mover. Sometimes you barely see anything happen. So FOMC minutes, I'm not going to be too excited about. But yeah, we'll see how next week develops. But yeah, anyway, for me, I'm just going to focus on Aussie CHF. As I said, I'm not looking to enter any new positions. I'm just going to see how this trade plays out, at least this week anyway. If I do get any new positions, it'll be next week, hopefully on the yen pairs or potentially some of the USD pairs, looking for that weakness in the dollar. I'm not quite set my bias just yet. Maybe by the end of today, I might have a set bias for the DXY. I don't really have one yet, but I will post my weekly analysis on the weekend, of course. So if you do want to see more analysis from myself, wrapping up this week and analyzing next week, make sure you check out the weekly analysis. I'll post that on Saturday. But I don't really have a set bias yet for dollar, at least kind of intraday. Longer term, I'm still bullish, but yeah, we're at support now. Let's see if we can break through it or not. And I'll share my opinions tomorrow. But guys, really do appreciate you tuning in. I will be live again every day next week, as always, Monday to Friday. Not every day, every weekday next week. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you are interested, you do like the content, you do find it useful, make sure you pop in, say hi. I do appreciate everyone who does tune in. Drop a like on the stream if you found it useful. Hit the bell if you don't miss out on any streams uploads in the future. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. I do appreciate everyone who has liked, subscribed, hit the bell. It does really help out the channel. So I do really appreciate that from you guys. But if you do want to see more of myself, I will be in the Discord. If I do have any opportunities, I'll post some opportunities there, chat for other traders as well. So if you're looking for that, check out the Discord for Elevating Traders, complete free to join. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. Go check it out. You can find out more information about Elevating Traders. You can find out what I'm looking to trade, what other people are looking to trade. Of course, you can share information and set up to yourself as well. So go check it out if you are interested. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, a great weekend. Appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next one.